I'm Megan. Thank you for being here. This is going to be a slow flow class that will include some strengthening and balancing. And I'm back in Wisconsin visiting family. It's been wonderful, but also a bit hectic. And this practice reminds me that sometimes when my brain feels a bit overloaded, the best thing to do is to not deal with the brain, but to go into the body. We have cognitive mental therapies that we do to calm ourselves, to release. We also know that we can use the body itself as a doorway to release the mind or relax the mind. So that's the idea. I'm going to call it flow and feel for 3 breaths. And the 3 breaths might be 3 for you, it might be 2, it might be 5, but we'll do some movement and some stillness. And we'll start by coming down onto the ground, just doing a few extra Savasanas to get a baseline of where we are, to land and locate. Find that space where you can just let your whole back body rest on the earth. And make a promise or just send an invitation to yourself to do your best to stay present in your sensations of your body, the flow of your breath, the feel of your breath. Whatever's inside of you, whenever we stop to take those 3 breaths. And starting now by noticing how you're breathing, perhaps through the nose, feeling the temperature of the air, the coolness of the inhale and the warmth of the exhale. Noticing where your breath is landing in your body. This is your baseline breath before we begin practice, before we start to use muscles, before we perhaps increase our heart rate. Where are you breathing now in your most comfortable, relaxed space? How does that feel? And then also notice any sensations in your body. Maybe there's some parts of your body that are grumpy or in discomfort today. Just acknowledge those. And if your legs are straight out, begin to bend your legs. Place your feet on the ground. We'll start with the left leg. This is going to be very playful and open to interpretation as well. But bring your left leg in. Think of your joints and your toes, your ankle, your knee, and your hip. And let yourself move any of the joints in the left leg. So it might be squeezing the toes, moving your ankle, bending in and out of your knee, taking the hip in circles. You're just letting your left leg introduce itself to you through movement, which movement creates a sensation, and it's something for your brain to be present in, to feel as you're doing the movements. And then if you'd like to take your right leg out straight, you might get a little stretch there, and that may feel better. We're going to do what I call past the leg. So you can start with a bent left knee, but drop your left knee out to the left. You can drop into your left hand, so you're going to feel a stretch in your groin. Then come across to the center and take it across to the right. So if I'm doing this to my breath and you can follow me, I'm going to go out to one side on the inhale, exhale back to center, and then inhale to the opposite side. So we can do this with the bent knee. You can also do it with a straight leg if you want a little more sensation, more stretch in the inner thigh. Notice as you're doing this the way you can switch and catch your left hand on your leg as it comes to the left, and feel your right hand on your leg as it comes to the right. So even that coordination of hand to leg, if your head wants to move side to side, let it do that. And if you find it's too much with a straight leg, you're doing it with the bent leg. We're going to take our stop and our feel. So next time you get the leg out and over to the right side, take your left arm out. We'll come into a reclining twist. Just let that left foot rest on your right leg and take your breaths. And next breath out, come back to the center. We'll do a hold the other way. So you could have your leg extended or bend the knee. Use your left arm to support the left leg like a kickstand. Take your 3 breaths, just staying present and feeling. Bring that leg back to the center. We're going to do one more with the left leg. Take the left leg straight. Now you're going to, on an exhalation, bend the left leg, slide the heel up towards the base of your spine so you'll feel your knee come out to the side. And as you do that, we're going to get the torso into this one. Take the left arm and reach towards the left knee so you'll feel a C curve in your spine. Your left side will compress and your right side will stretch. So there's your exhale. And then as you inhale, extend the leg. Reach the left arm overhead, reach the left toes to the right, so you're stretching your whole left side out, and you'll do a C curve in the opposite direction. The left side of the spine will be extending, the right side will be compressed. And then you can let that go. So the movement to the breath is exhale, like you're compressing or squeezing the left side. Inhale, slide the leg, reach and open up the left side. If you find some other way to do this, please do it your way, because again, it's just about using the body to keep the mind present, first in movement, and then sometimes the trickier part, the stillness. But let yourself feel the movement. You can think about how you're moving if you want, or let your body just do it. Notice the way your waist moves and your torso. Letting your head just roll. I like to think of squeezing the breath out of the left lung on the exhale. Inhaling and filling the left lung. Wherever you are, finish this last round in movement. Just a little warm up here. And then next time you're exhaling into that space of contraction in the left side, just rest there. If you want to support your left leg with your hand, once again, you can. We'll come out of this half. Inhale into the length of the left side. You can reach your left toes to the right side of the mat, left hand to the right side. Take your 3 breaths. Do your best to be present. Come back to the center. Hug your knees into your chest for a moment. Maybe just roll around on your low back. And we'll take 3 breaths in that first position, that Savasana position. And in those 3 breaths, you can be more specific and notice the left and right sides, particularly your legs. As we get ready to venture into the right leg, notice what's more difficult for you. Is it the movement or is it the stillness? Are you able to stay present in both? And then we'll do our right leg, so you can bend both knees to start. Place your feet on the ground, bring your right leg in towards your body. Just image or experience your toes, your ankle, your knee, your hip, all the lovely joints in your right leg, and let them play. Wiggle your toes, move your ankle. You can bend in and out of your knee. Just acknowledging these spaces in our leg. We'll be using them to strengthen in a bit and to balance us. You can take your hip in circles. What feels mindful to you? Where is it easy to get distracted or leave your body? It doesn't have to be a repetitive pattern. It's the movement itself that creates the mindfulness. We'll do the pass the leg next, so you can take the left leg out long. Keep your right knee bent just to start at least, and then feel the outer right thigh as you breathe in. Drop the outer right thigh into the right hand over to the right. As you breathe out, take the knee back to the center over the hip. And then breathe in. Take the leg over to the left into a twist. You can use your left hand to guide it. Maybe right arm wants to come out to the side. Breathe out and back to the center. So you're passing the leg into the right hand as you breathe in, always returning to center as you breathe out, and then the left hand as you breathe in. Start to feel how you're going into your torso. Your neck may want to get in on the movement. If this is feeling okay, you want a little more sensation, then do it with a straight leg, dropping out to the right as you breathe in, coming back to the center, and then out to the left. Is it the bigger movements that are more mindful, that you really pay attention to, or do you like smaller, softer movements? What does your brain need today? Not just your body, but your brain. And of course, your heart. Just feeling this side-to-side motion, starting to pick up on when we can sense muscles that are stretching and getting longer, and those that are shortening or tightening. Then we're going to do our 2 holds. So you can take the leg out to the right side first, either with a straight leg, supporting it with the right hand, or maybe just bend the knee and let it drape. Feel that inner thigh stretch, or feel it wherever you feel it, and take your 3 breaths. We'll go into that second position of the reclining rotation, so you can take your right leg even on your left thigh, take it over. There's all this open space to breathe into your right lung. That's one invitation, but see where you are in your stillness of the 3 breaths. Let the leg come back to center. Take both legs out just for 3 breaths in that stillness, and notice what you can notice. Notice what you can't notice. Where is there sensation? Where is there no feeling at all, or no connection? Bend your knees, place your feet on the floor. We're going to do a bridge pose, so heels are approximately under your knees, as wide as your hips. Take the backs of the hands into the ground and gently press the backs of the upper arm bones into the ground and your shoulder blades. Begin to press into your feet, and as you take a breath in, let the pelvis rise up. As you take a breath out, slowly come down for a landing. Again, feel the whole torso, but you can start from the feet. Press into the feet, feel the leg muscles. You might even hug the inner thighs. Breathe out and come down and release. Such a simple movement, powerful. Notice the whole back line of the body, your hamstrings and your glutes engaging as you lift up. Can you sense some release as you come down? Just giving the mind something to chew on, other than all that's going on outside of you, or has been going outside of you, or any worries that you may have. All those things that can take up our space. We don't necessarily want it to. So right now your space is your inner body, that inner body brightness, feeling it. Lift up one more time. And this time is our 3 breath hold. So come to a comfortable position. And coming back down and releasing that bridge. Hug your knees into your chest again, just roll around a little bit. We're gonna come all the way up to all fours. You're welcome to roll to one side or rock up. From all fours, find your table pose. So wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and we're gonna do the somatic version of the cat-cow. So what I like to do is as you breathe in, think of the space from your pubic bone all the way up to your throat. Fill that space in the front body, and you'll feel yourself go into a back bend or extension of the spine, and you can bring your chin towards your chest. So it's like you wanna look at your belly as it fills, look at your chest. And then exhale, just release to neutral. Inhale, find that arch. You can even squeeze your shoulder blades on your back body. Feel the back body getting smaller, the front body getting bigger, and then release. Inhale, focus on filling front body, compressing back body, and come back to your neutral position. Do a few more, see how it feels today. You can think of your tongue chasing your tailbone. As your tailbone lifts, your tongue tries to look through and see it. One more there. And then we'll switch and go the opposite. So this will be more of what we'd say is forward folding in yoga. So now as you inhale, fill the back body, tailbone will go down. You'll lift the backs of the rib cage and just look slightly ahead. And then exhale, release the weight of the body down towards the earth. Inhale, lift away from the back body. Think of filling your back lungs. Look slightly forward. Exhale, release. You can spread your shoulder blades apart. Increase the space in the back spine area, the ribs. Exhale, let it go. One more round. And then we're going to put this together. So inhale into your arch. You can look at your navel center if you want. Start to come forward. And then round, still in the inhale, round into your curl and take your hips back on the exhale. Inhale, come forward. You're going to arch. You're going to start to look at your tail, then look forward. Round your back. Exhale, take the hips back as far as you can go comfortably. Keep your arms extended if it feels okay. So you're just undulating the spine. Take your time. And our resting hold in this one will be a child's pose. So next time you exhale, some people like knees wider apart, others close together. Take your legs to the position they want to be in. Exhale back and just let yourself feel this position. If it's more comfortable to use your arms as a pillow, please do so. Some people like arms behind with backs of hands touching the floor. 3 breaths. And take your arms forward if they're back. So one of the things I notice for myself is I'm very anxious at the beginning of the practice. I want to go. My brain needs more, but I don't let it. I just slowly ease into it. It's so that I'm not overdoing it just to satisfy my already busy mind. We're back at all fours. We're going to come into down dog. So roll your toes under and lift your hips up with your knees bent. Think of extending from your fingers to your tailbone as high as you can get there. You might even bend the knees a little bit and bounce. And now as you inhale, lift the hips up and back. As you exhale, drop the heels. So inhale, you can bend your knees a little bit, lift the hips up and back, the pelvis up high. Exhale, drop the heels. Inhale, knees can bend, extend through the spine. Exhale, drop heels. So we're just opening up the back line of the legs perhaps. Lift up and lengthen, spread your shoulder blades, hug your arm bones. Exhale, drop heels. Let's do that one more time. Bend the knees. Inhale, lift and lengthen, extension of the spine.
Exhale, drop the heels. 3 breaths in your down dog. How does it feel to be breathing upside down? Whole new situation here. And then we're going to drop to our knees if you'd rather, or just bring your left foot forward. Now drop onto your back right knee if you haven't already. Come onto your fingertips and just lunge yourself forward on your inhalation, your pelvis and your chest and your heart. Exhale, take it back. Just a little bit of back and forth. We're going to do this movement in a number of different ways. Forward and back. So if you feel like you want a little more strengthening, you're feeling comfortable today, roll that back right toe under. Stay on those fingertips. You want to use your strong arms. Lift the back right knee, and we'll do the same forward and back. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. A little more stretch, a little more strengthening. Always the option to stay on your knee, see what your brain says. But it is a good practice of resilience too. No pain, but sometimes it's the mind that gives out before the body. So give yourself that voice of encouragement. And then this is where we're going to stop. So if you prefer to stop on your knee, absolutely do. You have that extra support, and it's a little more stretchy if you need more stretching today. If you want more strengthening, you're going to keep that knee lifted. Fingers can stay on the ground. If you're looking for more of a challenge, hands could come to your thigh, behind you, forward. It's all up to you. Where can you go to challenge yourself enough to keep your brain in your body for 3 breaths without it screaming at you? And take your hands down. If your knees down, lift it up, step to the front of the mat. Hands to your shins, shins forward into your hands, thighs back. Now as you inhale, lift your hips up as high as you can, reach the crown of the head forward, so we're making an L or a pike position with the body. As you exhale, bend both knees and sink the hips. Inhale, extend through the spine, shins forward, thighs back. Exhale, drop as deep as you can. Inhale, forward reach. Exhale, drop. Next one, inhale, forward reach. We're going to hold that position, that half fold. Hands can stay on the shins, or they might even be on the thighs. More challenge, hands at your hips. Hug your inner elbows. And perhaps in those 3 breaths you noticed a difference in your 2 legs. We did some stretching in the left that we haven't done in the right yet. Go ahead and bend your knees. Take your hands back down to the ground. We'll come on to all fours first. Roll your toes under, lift up into your down dog. We're going to pause here for a moment. 2 breaths, 3 breaths. Feel the 2 sides. We're going to shift forward into a plank pose. And in plank pose, there's always opportunity to drop to your knees. So we're going to pause there just for a moment, slowly coming down on an exhalation. Press the toes into the ground. Inhale into just a low back bend. We're going to do a few of these half flows in between doing the 2 sides of the legs. So now as you exhale, you're welcome to take the child's pose we did earlier. Or as you exhale in this flow, you can come into down dog. So I'm going to show both ways. We're going to do several rounds of this. So if I want to inhale forward onto my knees, then exhale down. Inhale into back bend. Exhale, still on the knees, child's pose. So I could do this whole thing on my knees or on my shins. Exhaling down. Or if I want a little bit more, I'm up here, I'm in down dog, inhaling, shifting forward. So sometimes we call this half vinyasa. You might even exhale down. It depends on your practice. Inhale up. Exhale, down dog. So we're definitely going to start to feel some differences in the heart rate and your breathing. Can you stay present for all of that? Taking 1 or 2 more rounds wherever you are. Remember, no harm in dropping to your knees. So you want to try to keep that flow of breath even. Complete inhale and exhale. Sometimes when we push ourselves too far physically, we lose that ability. And then this time, take your last one. We're going to land in the back bend. So if you're doing it from your knees, you might even just stay low. You could come onto your forearms into a Sphinx pose for more support. You might be doing an up dog if that's in your practice and you know what that is. 3 breaths of stillness. Release yourself from the back bend. Press back. We'll come back into down dog. Feel your right foot. That right foot needs to come forward. So if you want to do it from your knees, you can do it there. Or from the down dog, step it forward. Come onto your fingertips. And we'll do those little lunges, low lunges. Inhale, bring the pelvis forward, your heart forward. You can take your gaze up. Exhale back, round the spine. So the saying is true, what's good for the body is good for the mind. Especially if you're open to staying present to see what's there. And then you can stay on your knee if you want a little bit more. Roll that back left toe under, lift the back knee. Exhale to the back and inhale forward. You can be paying attention to our legs as we move. You can notice the role of your hands and arms. Pick a part of your body. Maybe it's watching what your neck does or your tongue. It's silly things like that that actually make the practice more mindful. And we're going to come into our stopping position so you can keep the knee down and stay here. You might want to take your hands to your leg or overhead if you're on your knee, or rolling that back toe under, a little more strengthening here. On the knee will be more stretching, staying on fingertips. Hands could come to the thigh, wherever you want your hands today. Last round of breath, just feeling what came out, what presented itself to you. Were you able to stay present, and was it a good space for you? Then wherever you are, step that left foot next to the right at the front of the mat. Bow forward a little bit, take your hands to your shins. Breath in, come halfway out. Breath out. Bow down, feel free to bend your knees if you would like. Press into your heels. Inhale, we're going to rise all the way up. Exhale, hands down to the heart center. From the top of the mat, take a moment. Feel yourself in your left foot. And then I'm going to turn towards you so you can see me. We're going to let the weight come into the left foot. Come onto the right toes just to start and see how it feels to move. Remember, we're laying on the ground and moving our ankle, our knee, and our hip. You can do that with your foot on the ground for more support, or lift it up. Just be playful, moving your leg. This is where we start to get the brain involved with balance. And then it has to work a little bit harder. We find that when we do balance poses, it's that one-pointed concentration. We really have to pay attention. So just playfully paying attention right now, however you want to move the leg. Feeling the way the left leg can support you. Got a lovely hinge joint at your knee you can play with. Your hip can do all kinds of fun things. All right, and then we're going to do 2 balance poses from here with the weight in the left leg. Begin to take the right leg out behind you into what we call a warrior 3. So you can go part way and keep your hands at your heart. If you're dropping your shoulders down to the height of the hips, feel free to take hands to the ground or to blocks if you like using blocks. Press through your heel. This is our 3 breaths. Take a soft bend in your left knee. We're going to transfer right to taking the right leg forward and into an eagle pose. I'm going to turn towards you. You're going to take the right leg, wrap it around. As best you can, hug the right thigh into the left. And you can keep the right toes on the ground for more balance. Take your right arm underneath the left. You can just give yourself a hug, wrapping the hands towards the shoulder blades, or backs of the hands or palms come together, lifting the elbows to the height of the shoulders. So it's your Garudasana. Where does it take your brain? What parts of this pose feel good for you today? And then hug the thighs and begin to sit down. There's those 3 breaths. Fly out of your posture slowly. Come to both feet at the top of the mat. We're going to do a pause here again just to feel the 2 sides of the body. Take 3 breaths. Notice your right leg, your left leg. There's such a tendency to want to keep going, and I know the American yoga in particular is flow, 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 move, move, move. Breathe, stop, feel. And now we get to do it all on the other side. So I'll face you again. Weight goes into the right foot this time. Just feel that shift. The simple part of just shifting your pelvis and feeling your foot differently, your right foot differently. You can even close your eyes. And you can play with the toes on the ground, moving the left leg. Think of all the joints in your left leg. Let them be playful. Or you can lift the left leg up. And let your one-pointed brain help you to stay up strong and steady on your right leg. Arms can flop around. Use them as a balance point. These are all movements we've done. The leg is familiar with it because we did them when we were on the ground. But now we're doing it standing. So just more of a challenge, more of an opportunity to stay present for many, I think. Let me know if it's easier for you to stay present now because you have to balance, right? And then we'll do those 2 balance poses. So you're going to come on to the right foot if you're not already, and just start to slowly lift the left leg behind you. It might be a partial lift, keeping the shoulders higher. As you drop the shoulders down towards the ground, you lift the heel up. You can stop anywhere along that line. Hands could come to your thigh. If you'd like to use the ground because you're going deeper, please feel free to, or you can use your blocks. Maybe you've got a practice where you extend your arms. Go for that. You do you today. 3 breaths. We usually get a little cheat helper because now we know what's coming. So the brain may be able to help you to transfer right into that eagle pose. Take the left leg around. Remember, you can keep your toes on the ground. Hug the thighs together. This time it'll be the left arm underneath, giving yourself a hug. Hands together, palms together. Squeeze the thighs and sit. And slowly come out. Come to the top of the mat. Pause. Another thing to consider in these practices is sometimes we do what's called a set series. We know exactly what's coming. And for some people, that's the best thing for your mind, to calm your mind, to know what's coming next. It's like when we do everything on one side, then we do the other side. And sometimes there's that satisfaction of, aha, I know what's coming. Don't we wish life was like that, right? But for some of us, like me, I like the challenge of not knowing what's next. So where are you in that practice? Pausing and feeling. We're going to do a very simple movement. I'm going to turn towards you. Breathe in and take your arms up overhead. Breathe out Take the hands through the heart center and sit down into a chair pose. So you're going to bend your knees. Drop down. Inhale, rise up. Press your heels into the ground, reach your fingertips. Exhale, sink. Keep those legs steady and strong. Feel both legs working together. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, take your seat. There's different ways to do the legs. Some people like knees in line with the hips. If you find your knees are falling inward, maybe try to bring your big toes together, bring your leg line together and hug the inner thighs. Use the stability of the inner thighs, those muscles, to help stabilize you as opposed to just letting them fall in. Let's take one more. Inhale, rise up. Keep the spine long. This time as you exhale and sit down, you can keep your hands if you want more of a challenge. Keep your fingers reaching or take them to the heart center as we've been doing. 3 breaths. So last standing pose, challenge yourself. Let's take 3 extra breaths. Why not? I know you got it in you, right? Do it. Sit a little deeper. Stay present. Next breath out, take your hands down your thighs. Come into a nice soft fold. Once you're down there, step back. Come onto all fours. We're going to transition onto our backs again. Go right into a Savasana. Feel free to do any wiggling you need to do. But it's like going from 90 to 0. From that chair pose, come down. Might even place your hands on your heart. Feel your heartbeat. Sometimes we're not aware of the inner changes in our body, but the physical changes are so present, like the heartbeat, the way we're breathing. Can you just let your mind be present in those sensations in the body? We're going to do one final movement into our last Savasana. It's one of my favorite ways to go out of class. My students won't remember that. We're going to take our legs up and we're just going to begin to imagine bike pedaling. And you can go really slow at first. So we'll build some heat. Might be a challenge. You could even take your arms if you want. I like to keep them down here though. See what you want to do today. How hard you want to work. So I'm going slow to start. But we're going to do this for about a full minute. And minute hasn't started yet, but challenge yourself to maybe go a little bit faster and harder. So the idea behind this is that the harder we work, the sweeter the reward when we get to rest. But also what we're doing here, and you can switch and pedal backwards, what we're doing is creating an opportunity for the mind to be present in some very fulfilling in-your-face sensations in the body, right? So let's go. Put a smile on your face. Let's do about 20 more seconds, so really work it out. Let your heart rate raise if it's raising. You can also kick out more, getting more core. Think of your legs like pistons. Ten more seconds. Go, go, go. Create feeling so that you have a place for the mind to land when we're still. And then take your last 5 seconds. And let the legs come down. Hands perhaps on your body as feelers for the nervous system, for your heart, for your lungs. See if you can just stay present as you sense any of those physical feelings dissipate or dull out. And notice what's left. I'll encourage you to stay here for as long as you feel you need to come back to that baseline heart rate and breathing that we experienced in the very beginning of practice when we first let our backsides rest on the earth. And as you come back into that space, think about the ride that you just brought your mind on, that you invited your mind to follow you through your breath and your movement of your body, your muscles, all of the systems of your body. And when was it that your mind paid close attention and behaved and stayed present? And when was it that it tended to wander off more? And can you just keep this understanding that even when we're not in yoga, in a physical practice, this space inside of us is always here to heal us, to hold us, to relax us, just by being present in the sensations of the body and the waves of your breath going in and out. Turn the corners of your mouth into a gentle smile. See how that feels for your brain. Maybe take a full body stretch. Move any parts of your body that would like some movement. And take your time coming up. Thank you for joining me today, for allowing me to share with you some of the ways that I help to quiet my mind, not through the mind, but more through the body and through the heart. Thank you, Patreons, for sponsoring me, and for all of you who comment, and please remember to subscribe. See you next Saturday. Peace, joy, love, and light.